Welcome, welcome. It appears to be somewhat overtime and somewhat of a proper moment for a tiny, tiny physical gag. I assume that with the little few of us already present, I can at least start talking about our current established idea. Here it begins. As the title suggests, I decided it is time for me to, let's call it, give myself a little leeway in my shock therapy. So we will play today something that is a little less of a pain. Yes, also you may have realized that I am trying to reduce the wait time for all of you, because previously I had this issue where I would start up the stream, I would put the 10-15 minutes of wait time before the proper hour, and the people would come in and leave, and we would be just back to square one where there's nobody present. Now I am at least trying to find like the golden ratio of not making anyone actually wait and also still not being late, which for me is currently kind of difficult. That said, as we previously established, the pain is too much. I'm joking, but you know. I need something to reduce the amount of cancer per second that I was experiencing previously, so we will now, for a short period of time, play somewhat of a established non-cock and ball torture build. It is still cock and ball torture build, don't get me wrong. Gunzerk, with rifle or not, like in general, burst berserker, signet berserker, glass berserker, however you call it, is extremely vulnerable to everything, essentially. But it's at least less clunky. So in this way, we are giving ourselves better time. We will be suffering less from the junk itself. But we will still be suffering, and we will be making other people suffer. So worry not. The pain is still the gain. One of very beneficent... Oh, speaking of... And blind shot landed. This is why Berserker sometimes is a blessing and a curse. Because if you manage to surprise somebody, but often by playing like a complete and utter buffoon, well, what you hit is yours. And what hits you heals you most of the time. So, high risk, high reward. Mostly high risk. The reward is still not exactly the best in slot, but we will get there. We'll get there when we get there. For now, also I noticed one good thing for me is that I'm starting to be on the level, like, of, let's call it streaming proficiency, where I can mostly, from standstill, just turn stream on and start streaming. I no longer have to think about what I'm going to be doing for the entire day prior. I can mostly just get along with the process from the get-go. You deserve to die. God damn it, I love thieves. My mind with Gunzerk is that I know it's not a great or even good build, but it's just stupid fun, so I don't mind. Yes, it is kind of fun. Unless you are being actively molested by a thief, whom you cannot do anything against, because the game is just designed that way. But, yeah, in general, it is very... like, the dopamine you receive when you actually succeed is more than sufficient for you to have the... like this. Have your fun.
The artifacts have reached maximum power. You've lost life.
The only actual issue with risk-reward in GW2 is that, oh yeah, you risk the death, and for the same, for this risk, your reward is landing one skill. So you kind of have to hope that your enemy is handicapped, but fortunately for you, they very often are. Like, this should have absolutely hit. It's like, yeah, welcome to GW2. It sucks that an actual power melee build for Berserker doesn't seem to be of interest to ArenaNet. Yeah, it is. What's that? Signet Rifle Berserker? What is this, 2016? We have to do something, yeah. And playing something completely outdated on Warrior is nothing really new. Remember that one of the best builds that Warrior still has is just the good old-fashioned dagger, shield, greatsword, spellbreaker. It's still one of the best Warrior builds. Still. And every build that is newer than that is either Paragon build or is worse. And even Paragon isn't that good. Paragon is just Visions of Eternity spec. But its design... wow, its design is... You would think that saying that spec, which released in 2026, is that calling it more outdated than Berserker would be some sort of an exaggeration, but it's not. At least we can defeat a catalyst. At least we can do that. And we will get molested by this Paragon. Yes, we will. Phew. Fortunately for my enemies, they always know I'm handicapped. Well, yes, but it's just normal when you're playing any warrior build of any spec that doesn't starts with para. Like, we reached the level, like, when I'm surprised by how bad is other people's opinion of warrior. Like, I heard somewhere, I think on some of the Discord servers with PvP, that Spellbreaker is dogshit, like, in general, which is a opinion so... I don't want to say outlandish, but so critical that I'm surprised that someone could have, like, utter it out loud and not be circumcised out of the community.
Red team has obtained an artifact.
I would be, would be prone to agreeing that if someone said that Power Berserker is dogshit, if someone said that Blade Swan is dogshit, I would agree, maybe even with both, but like just Spellbreaker? That sounds a bit exaggerated. Still,
You've lost life.
also sounds like something you would expect to eventually hear. And the thief is back on me. Why? I really don't like it, unfortunately. Every time I face Thief, I'm just reminded
Artifacts are accruing power.
that this game is really not made to be fun, unfortunately. It's the problem, because it could be the best PvP in all of MMOs, but it's just designed to be terribly unfun. Like, the design choices,
Artifacts have reached
like,
power.
in this game, they bring, like, they almost beg for the comparison to Dota 2. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I bring you this example. In Dota 2, you have this item called Blink Dagger, which everyone can buy and everyone can equip. Therefore, everyone, including tanks, mages, like bullshits like Pudge, which is essentially this game's Blitzcrank, all of them can have long-range teleport, like instant long-range teleport, which works through Fog of War and everything. It's allowed for everyone to have that. You have you have characters which are like tanks, tanks, but they become initiators as soon as they can purchase Blink Dagger. So essentially, in Dota, you have to have like scouting everywhere, because every character in the game can blink at you from outside your vision. So the comparison to Guild Wars 2 basically invites itself at this point. Everywhere you are, if you don't know what's behind every wall in range of Blink Dagger, you can get blinked on by everybody in the enemy team at the same time. So that comparison just gets itself. But also comparison with invisibility. You can have global invisibility for the entire team in Dota 2. It is true consumable item, by the way. So yes. And some classes, some characters in Dota, I don't remember if it was Slork or somebody else. I haven't played it in a long time. Maybe that's for the beta. But there are characters, or I think Riki. But there are characters which can attack you while invisible, and they do not get revealed by simply attacking you. So you have to buy like a separate item to just pull them out of invisibility so you can fight back. That is essentially Oh, that is essentially what we get here in Guild Wars 2 as well. Just a little less ridiculous, but still very comparable. Could have chosen any word and you choose circumcised. Probably a master of language good. Yeah. When it comes to words for violently twisting my PP off, it is pretty much no reason to even think about which one you're going to use. If the word is not going to get you demonetized, why bother bothering with it? Or worrying about it? It's the same. Especially the thief involved rewards when fun is deleted. Yes, the problem I see with Guild Wars 2 is that this game was not made for casual fun, because ArenaNet in 2012 had this chopped off heads dream of esports scene. And I don't know why esports were supposedly, in quotations, big in like 2010s, early 2010s. But like everyone tried. And if you know game like Battlerite, you may know Battlerite, you may not know, but Battlerite is from Stunlock Studios, or was from Stunlock Studios. It's the same guys who made V Rising. You may have noticed that because, Maklak was playing that game. But this Battlerite was made by the same studio. And Battlerite was specifically dumpstered into the ground by the Stunlock Studios idea that they will make the game into an esport. They tried, and they failed, and the game died, which is extremely sad because Battlerite was a very fun game. I played a shit ton of it, and it was one of very few games where like supports and tanks were more enjoyable than DPSs. Excuse me? Did I just teleported? Yep, I just teleported. This Sandy's teleport. Should have known better. Movement and feel of combat is unmatched, but class design and balance is a joke. Kind of, yes. That's exactly what I would say if someone asked me. The core idea, the core combat of Guild Wars 2 is extremely good. But for some reason we went with like designs for classes which completely and utterly makes zero sense. Take for example Elementalist. If you look at Elementalist has pretty much a design that should not be allowed anywhere near a video game, let alone in it. And I'm speaking about Elementalist's core idea in Guild Wars 2. Because Elementalist in Guild Wars 2, if I'm correct, was designed the way it is because of Avatar The Last Airbender. That's the only charitable interpretation. Because if you think about it, Elementalist prior was specializing in specific elements. Like you had Air Elementalist, you had Fire Elementalist, you have Earth, but you didn't have this I will do all elements equally type of bullshit. And so Elementalist was not a generalist. Now that we have Elementalist wielding all four at once to the same extent, it ends up being so. Elementalist always has multitude of tools available. Like, in fire, they will always have a shit ton of damage. In air, they will always have mobility and probably also shit ton of damage. In water, there will always have some cleanse, some sustain. And in earth, they will always have mitigation, probably barrier, and crowd control. So if they have everything and anything all of the time, they become a generalist. But how do we then make this generalist not overpowered. We cannot reduce the, let's say, we cannot reduce how much earth they use, because they use all 4 elements equally. So we cannot reduce effectively their access to mitigation. We cannot take away healing from DPS builds, because they still have access to water. We cannot take damage from tanky builds or bruiser builds, because they will still have access to air and fire. We cannot take mobility away, because, well, we cannot take the access to air from something. So the only way we could potentially make elementalist not be very strong of a generalist is by making specific weapons in specific attunements, such as, which is not fun, and we don't want to do it. So the only possible way, the only way that ArenaNet found to make elementalists not overpowered is by making them glass cannon, which, with elementalist wielding 4 elements and having always access to damage, always access to mobility, always access to tankiness, and always access to sustain, and always access to, well, pretty much everything in the game, they created the most ludicrous possible thing that they could have created. A glass cannon generalist. A concept that should not exist. But here we are. And moreover, not just the, what's his name, the glass cannon generalist is the problem, even on itself, but also, I don't know if you realized, auras. Auras are still the same thing they always were, and they always still be. Which means that auras are effectively a perpetual problem. Because what do we do with auras? Auras cannot be stripped. Auras give effects that cannot be reduced numerically. Because, like, if aura gives you, what's his name? If you have cold aura, that reduces damage taken by 10%. So we could potentially nerf the cold aura, frost aura, sorry, to make it like reduce the damage by lesser percentage. But we cannot make, for example, magnetic aura deflect only 60% of the projectile. I mean, we could make it a percentage-based chance to reflect the projectile, but then we invite gambling. And I don't think Arena really likes that concept. And neither do I, honestly, so I'm on their side with it. Hey, look, another warrior.
Cannon operational. Ready for targeting coordinates.
Why would you do this to yourself? Why would you play this class? Don't. So we end up with very strong, generalist that is only balanced by being a glass cannon. So I guess then we also have what's his name? The opposites, the other glass cannons spec. Glass cannon class, sorry. Guardian. What is Guardian's main strength? Guardian's main strength is, well, that is self-buffing himself a shit ton, effectively. So, when it buffs itself, mainly with defensive buffs, like protection, like resolution currently, like Aegis, and Aegis is being spammed more and more in this game, and its main form of mitigation is, well, Guardian is based on mitigation and self-buffing. And when you build class around that, combat, sorry. I love Condi.
Point B belongs to you.
Yes, that would maybe make them resources. It can reflect only X amount of projectiles. Yes, that is part that makes some sense. I agree with that. But also, it is not a golden ratio. Because, as you may have realized, we have, for quite a while,
Targeting coordinates.
balanced the class around it having auras. Now, what do we do when class balanced around auras is, well, no longer has auras? What do we do then?
Point B belongs to you.
Skyhammer calibrated to red.
Did elementalist make everything warrior? I like the simplicity of the ideas presented. And the, what's his name, righteous belief that nothing ever will go wrong.
Point A is yours.
Where's this guy even?
Point B belongs to you.
Please jump. Damn it! Never mind. Apparently Arc Divider to the face is not enough. And hey, live and learn. In both world, I hate when Ele Asura share... Ele Auras share, yeah, sorry, not Asura. Was a thing. They do magnetic aura share overlap each other, make range projectile impossible to hit, and I'm glad they finally removed it. You know what?
The enemy has point A.
Between elementalist aura share and things like Ventari Bubble and the Guardian just existing, like, how do you even make the... Isn't projectile-based range damage in World v. World just in general non-existent? Because I'm completely certain that to even do range damage you need some cleaving AoE or something that does not count as a projectile. I love it.
Point C is yours now.
Mm,
Your team is victorious.
I hear a lot of people just stating that you can climb with anything in GW2, where that claim is entirely, almost entirely based on assumption that there is a lot of players who are just dog shit at the game running around still, which is not the case. As you know, all of the assumptions that were working 5 years ago or 3 years ago, or even just before what's his name, Visions of Eternity dropped, like, they're all no longer what's the proper word? Sustainable? No. They're just false at this point. So, for example, how are you in post Visions of Eternity world? How will you climb with anything that is countered by Amalgam? Until Amalgam gets nerfed out of the meta, you just simply will not. So, congratulations, I guess. Or, honestly, like, when we had Willbender, Glass Berserker was one of the better things you could whip out against Willbender. Because you could just, well, if you were exchanging blows, the Willbender wouldn't be able to one-shot you before you would one-shot him. And with Blood Reckoning, especially with what's his name? With this being used, like, you would just live through his best, but he wouldn't be able to live through yours. So Willbender would have to start playing like a human being, and not just port one-shot every time they get a chance. Counter with another... Yes, that... most I saw in multi-world Amalgam, run, hybrid, hard, hit hard, run fast. Yes, the unfortunate thing is Amalgam makes me miss Holosmith players.
The match starts soon.
Like, for a moment we had Holosmith somewhere in I think in our team, but he switched. Because Holosmith, as much as some people would like to complain about Holosmith, and as much as Holosmith did in fact had some insane damage in certain metas, Holosmith's things at least were properly, like, what's his name? He had mostly one type of damage, mostly power damage, and his attacks were mostly well telegraphed. Prime Light Beam is very well telegraphed.
You've captured Lion.
What's his name? The other thing.
You've lost
So note how comically the... What is this? Am I lagging or am I just... Yeah. No, I'm just hallucinating. Prime Light Beam was very well telegraphed, as I said previously. The Forge 5 was very well telegraphed as well. So we just had multiple skills that were very well telegraphed, and so they were moderately fun to play against. Because you were seeing what you're fighting, seeing what hits you, and with Amalgam they just spam things. They spam the... what's his name? Spam the bomb kit. They spam the flamethrower. I dumped the guy, just... Someone needs to help me finish, and we're done. Let's go. Amalgam seems to be the... what's his name? The most skill... what would be the proper way? Proper way to say this? Skill independent. Oh, thank you. The most skill independent engineer has ever been. Because if you're fighting against any projectile-based spec, you have magnetic aura like this. Your healing button heals for a shit ton. It is healing over time, but it's very, let me put it this way, overtuned number. The number is bigger than it logically should be. Yes, it's over time, that doesn't change the thing. Being big is still being big. If you're big and slow, you're still big. And it also heals you for more if you have barrier. Because reasons. Sometimes a button that just heals is enough. Like, you don't have to over-engineer the thing. It's just healing should be enough sometimes. Come on. What is not weak against Amalgam? Actual question, I don't PvP enough to know. That's the problem. Because it's a very good question, and I'm afraid that we're asking ourselves this question pretty much since Visions of Eternity released, and we haven't found an actual answer yet. Oh, now I die into V1 because the other guy has to show up because he's cringe. And we have an elementalist who is asleep. Okay, now he's moving. Chat, he has found the keyboard. We are saved. In general, the Visions of Eternity specs are comically overtuned. But... come on! Ugh. warrior mechanics.
The Colosseum's artifacts are accruing power.
I love it. In Christ, what the fuck do you want from me?
The artifacts have reached maximum power.
I'm trying to drop combat.
Has obtained an artifact.
We don't die from minor king. It's from exactly that. That arc divider should have hit. I know, unpopular opinion, but
You've captured Lion. Red team has obtained an artifact.
look at this little fella. That he's going to open on me from stealth because he can. And that just disappeared. Disappeared into the ether. Because why would the king's skill not disappear? Like, maybe I should just skip swap to ranger. What the fuck? Why are you even? Get your life together. You're playing ritualist. What is your problem? New NG spec? What is this amalgam? Stop playing in End of Dragons. And you probably, what's his name, have did the best thing for your mental health that you probably could. Because unless you want to play exclusively only PvE, there is no point of just coming back to Guild Wars.
You've lost Dragon.
Like look at this. Just guys, projectiles hit through wall more consistently than mine hit through, like, on open field. Can you fuck off?
The Colosseum's artifacts are accruing power.
Would you prefer if core specs were tuned to be as powerful as elite ones? Or do you prefer the hyper-enhanced system that exists? Yes. The issue is that if you say, would you prefer if core specs were tuned to be as powerful as elite ones? That is a question which has no actual answer. Because elite specs are very wild in terms of their power level.
You've lost the field.
If you compare, like, put together next to each other specs like Amalgam or like Luminary and specs like Bladeswan, those two are from like completely different. There's no comparison between the two, between one side of the spectrum and the other side of the spectrum. The fact of the matter is that Visions of Eternity specs, almost all of them, are just overpowered. And there's no way of just looking around that. Time to lock in with Paragon stuff? No. I understand that some people value winning, but with how boring Paragon is to me, I would rather be like I I prefer dealing with the frustration of playing Bladesworn, of playing Berserker, than win with Paragon. At this point. Because we've reached the point where it just... the pain is just... there is something relieving in pain. Because at least you feel something. And if I would switch the pain for misery, there would be no relief. And yes, I know it because I played Paragon before. It's just dual. It feels like there's something missing, but in an existential way. Like, yes, ArenaNet fixed the spec to the extent in which it could be fixed, but there is no way of just jumping over that. The elite spec, which Paragon is, it's... how do I put it in words? It's... imagine Core Warrior. Now imagine just taking everything that makes Core Warrior borderline even interesting and switching that for a passive. For a passive boon generation. Like, it's the most dual, the most sleep-inducing, the most proper... like, it's a snooze fest. Brother. It's like... it's like... you're not only hurting yourself, but you're making it a process boring. And that's probably worse than just hurting yourself. Like, imagine if you decided it's time to end myself. I will cut my arms up and I will hurt myself even more. But then you notice that you don't have a blade around, so you went forward and said, fine then. I will dissolve my whole arm in a bucket of water. And you just dropped your arm into bucket of water, hoping that it will dissolve. It may dissolve eventually, after you die of boredom. So essentially you're just trying to hurt yourself with practical sleep medication. That's essentially what we're going for. And that's Paragon. Like, you're... I do not want the suicide equivalent of dying from hypothermia. Like, it's boring. And it still hurts all the way through. So why not at least hurt ourselves in an exciting way? I can see that. I feel like hard CC skills that are available to warrior, stomp, boost, charge, blah blah blah, are incredibly fun, but only useful in niche scenarios, or not powerful enough. Kind of yes. The issue with Warrior's CC skills is the same as blanket issue with Warrior in general. A lot of its animation are extremely slow. Take Hammer for example. Like, you have a melee knockdown with a second long wind-up. Normally on skills of that magnitude, like, for example, Holosmith, where that was pretty much exactly what you had on... what's his name? On... Jesus Christ, English language, why did you condemn me? Holosmith Holoforge 5 was also a knockdown, which was slow and stationary. So they put evade on that knockdown. And it always was AoE. So now you look at Warriors, non-AoE, the non-evading, slower version of Holosmith 5, Holoforge 5. Which also has, the Holoforge 5 also has shorter cooldown, by the way. And you just look at this and think to yourself, huh, that looks kinda bad. And when you look at Warrior, eventually, like, when you start looking into the details, eventually everything just looks kinda bad. And when everything looks kinda bad, the entire spec just feels meh. So you end up just looking for the extreme examples, which are not feeling meh, and you end up playing Berserker.
The match starts soon.
Just to feel something. Why the fuck am I playing Discipline? Especially with Crackshot, what the f... This is what I was playing? I'm going insane. Place would work back 2 years ago when cooled 3v1. If your enemies are bad enough, everything can 3v1. That's the issue. We're once again depending on enemies being bad at the game.
You've lost the field.
Come on. Of course that went off. Why wouldn't it? How did it miss?
You've lost life.
Cappy, invest in meme builds. I don't know if you know, but Cappy is a juice company. Bladesword back to his... Yeah. I read that. He sacrificed his sanity to entertain us. That's essentially just base of content creation. Very well telegraphed so you could see the doom coming with endless rotation. Maybe. Come on.
You've lost dragon.
Run the f away. Yo-ho-ho.
You've lost life.
Come on.
The Colosseum's artifacts are accruing power.
That's not good, unfortunately. Oh no, it's okay. Never mind. He succeeds.
You've lost the field.
It's still around, but it's less useful in PvP as Daring Dragon uses the Alec variant instead of Might Fury.
Blue team has obtained an artifact.
It's nice in a movie you would just damp DT for 2.5k heal if it's
The field.
hits something then it's a bonus.
You've lost life.
Come on, the fucking battle standard? Which of them runs battle standard? God damn.
Blue team has obtained an artifact.
The shit. I love it when I'm
Artifacts are
targeting behind me and accidentally mouse over my UI, so the skill goes in different direction than I was mousing over for. It's very sensible and normal, and I love it. From what I have seen, warrior kits genuinely lack cohesiveness or synergy, and are often lackluster compared to other options available to other classes. Warrior shield versus energy shield. Yes.
maximum power.
Also think about weapons like Gunsaber, which has literal anti-synergy, for example. Because if you want to use Gunsaber, if you land a CC with Gunsaber, or like for example, if you land Boost Charge, with Gunsaber, your biggest damaging skill would, so the first in priority you would want to get off after you have CC'd to guarantee that it lands before enemy has, for example, chance to stun break and get out. That skill also dazes. So it's a skill that will override your CC with a weaker one. So we don't want to press it. The best option to CC, and then, another thing. If you're using Gunsaber, that means you're using Bladeswan. And if you're using Bladeswan, that means your, in quotations, best skill is the Dragon Trigger. Dragon Trigger is terrible to use in congruence with crowd control, because to hit, you have to charge it, essentially. And if you want to charge it, you just... Congratulations, you have spent God knows how long standing in one place. Ladies and gentlemen, the thief. Like, imagine you hit boost charge. It's 3-second long CC. And now for that 2 seconds, 2.5 of a second, because that's how much it takes to charge Dragon Blade. You just stand still. And then you cast the Dragon Slash, which can take, if I remember correctly, it's either half a second or 3/4. Either way, either if it's half a second or 3/4, it's just long enough for you to get robbed out of your Dragon Slash hitting the target because of latency.
The artifacts have reached maximum power.
How that not hit, I don't know.
Obtained an artifact. You've lost the field.
How that not hit, I don't know. Warrior projectors, ladies and gentlemen. They're afraid of the enemy. That's why DD is better in 1v1. You can do 1 capsule charge, or you can use the elite skill for two shells. Yes. I still remember the Daring Dragon when it was actually fun. We need to unfortunately remove the thief from the point, because if we don't...
Target identified. You've captured the field.
Daring Dragon in general was better previously, but now it's not, because they decided it's... Oh, wouldn't it be funny if we made the entire skill borderline useless? Come on.
You've lost life.
Come on, That's very unfun. Gotta run. Thanks for the dialogue. I will look forward to more of your bad videos. Have a nice day. I will also look forward to more of my bad videos. Whatever that may seem, maybe like...
You've lost dragon.
Eat pain.
The Colosseum's artifacts are accruing power. You've captured lion. You've lost the field. You've captured dragon. The artifacts have
I love necromancers! 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 It's such joy to be around. Okay, check the thief, check the thief.
You've captured the field.
No, no, no. God damn it. So close. Whew. So close. Whew. Never played the OG Bladesworn. Because all the EOD heavy specs looked bad and cringe, and I had just unlocked my heavy ledge armor. Wasn't too wrong though. Cringe bender, cringe. Cringe gator, bad sworn. Kind of correct. Not gonna lie. Someone dropping truth nukes on us. I like Bladesworn now because I like being challenged. Physically challenged or mentally challenged? That is a question. Because if you like being physically challenged, then a gym would be a better option. If you like being mentally challenged, I guess that's Bladesworn. I'm gonna ask Sudo, he knows something about it. I, on the other hand, don't need Bladesworn to be mentally challenged. I'm just making videos about my experience as mentally challenged. And everyone calls me cringe. So I guess this is our something. What wouldn't be so bad if the reward track progressed faster. You know what, Tasha? I have probably good news for you. ArenaNet are looking into changing how rewards are given in World v World. I think I know what is the main problem of the... what's his name? Berserker currently. It is that it's, comically speaking, not doing enough damage in comparison to the rest of the game. So people can straight up, on occasions, just leave through Berserker's, what's his name? Damage outputs and just keep going. Because everything is balanced around specs which do more damage than Berserker ever did. Whoever is this, what's his name? This Necromancer, they have a bad day. Oh yeah, I should have changed my traits. Because I'm missing ferocity and I'm missing hit chance. From how it sounds, they're gonna make multi-world rewards suck more. They want to give boosted rewards with team when a team is winning the skirmish. Teams are unbalanced AF at the moment. I'm afraid you might be correct. I don't want to think about it, but I'm afraid. Let's try to fight the Necromancer. Nope. Not 2v1.
Enemy captured the windmill.
It's not what I wanted.
Mansion captured.
Okay. I'm afraid that we're reaching this point in GW2 where they could unironically just make every... what's his name? Make Berserker evade on every primal blast, and it would still not be enough to make Berserker, to make powers like viable. And like, this is a crazy idea, comedic idea. It's just pretty much designed with an intent of making it overpowered. But it probably wouldn't. Like, it probably wouldn't even be enough to make the thing overpowered. Like, look, I couldn't even cleave down through revive power. And it was with Signet of Rage shard. What is your favorite class? Guess. You're never going to guess. You're never going to figure that out from what I'm playing religiously through my entire life. Yes, it's unfortunately Stockholm Syndrome and masochism has glued me to Warrior, and we are here. Why couldn't I love, for example, why couldn't I just stay playing Guardian and be happy? I had to have some king testosterone, and now I'm here. Like the worst pile of junk in the history of humanity. Come on. Like, what is this? Why do I even try, honestly? Or just unironically jump behind my back. Become Thief Enjoyer. I don't want to hear a word about Thief. I'm first time here. My condolences. Do Warrior even shine in Condi build? No, even Gunzerk still prefer power. Warrior has one condition build that is possible to pull off in competitive modes. It is Condi Berserker, which hinges entirely on one skill of, comically speaking, power weapon doing, for some reason, condition damage instead. I can show you the build next game, it's no problem, honestly, because it's not like we're going to have any better progress. I'm pretty much here to suffer. So there is no actual incentive for me to just stay being myself. Sorry, became engine enjoyer. That's better. That's better. It still probably won't happen because sunk cost fallacy and Stockholm Syndrome combined together into one... That's fun. Is this reflect bubble, if I believe correctly, it's called feedback, does it cast faster than my gunflame, yes. Gunflame, not gunblade. Because I have strange thing that it does. You can join them in enjoying explosive entrance nav. You know what? I'm going to say one thing. You can clown on NG, what's his name? Explosive entrance nav. But they have just, like, found out, not found out, they just made together Suicide Bomber Holosmith. So there is sauce over there. So let's say... I will put some respect into the name of the engineer. At least Holosmith. I respect Holosmith and Holosmith players. Amalgam can suck nuts from the behind. Amalgam still broken as ever, Nerf did nothing. Yes, we noticed. But Amalgam is currently pretty much the only thing that engineers have that is not qualifying them for human rights. As soon as Amalgam gets completely booted out of the meta and Holdsmith takes its righteous place as the only engineer spec that is remotely well designed, we are going to be in what's his name? Once again in the good ending timeline. They just need to give Amalgam the Harambe treatment, hopefully to the point of it not being playable until the end of the Earth, and then slowly and gently we will be able to return back to normal, back to pre-world getting fucked era. Let engineer have it. One reason Lumi not got nerfed beyond this. Like, do you understand what you're saying? Because Lumi not getting nerfed is bad thing. Amalgam not getting nerfed is another bad thing. Two bad things together become good thing. Like, two negatives form positive in maths, because math is black magic. Guild Wars 2 is not black magic. Sorry, I shouldn't say black magic, Afro-American magic. Let's be inclusive over here. That said, Guild Wars 2 is not that kind of magic. Guild Wars 2 works on the normal human set of rules. There is no evil shaboingery here, like it is in maths. We still have to condone with all of the normal structured rules of society, of morality, and of what's this called? Reality. Yes, it's called reality. The thing that we all consider real. And so, unfortunately, Smackcot, I'm going to say something very honest. I have no idea how... what's his name? How accurate that comment of yours is. Because I literally don't know anything about Harry Potter, beyond the fact that there are apparently boys playing with their wands and troll in women's bathroom in the books. I don't know anything else. So I will not even attempt to correct your statement. I will just assume that you are not lying. Which I assume rarely. Usually, I assume that other people are lying because it makes me feel better with myself, because I'm a compulsive liar. And if other people are lying, I can say it's not just me, it's everyone. And that makes me feel happier. Because if everyone is lying, not just me, that means I am normal. And being normal is a skill issue. And me having a skill issue is something that I genuinely should have. And the world makes sense. Am I right? Alien can't nerf Amalgam and Lumi, right? They can't nerf Evoker, and we've seen it already with Willbender. All ArenaNet does is nerf cooldown, which is nothing for the problem. Yes, that is correct. With... It bugs me that problems with classes like Guardian were not addressed, but the classes themselves were nerfed in a way. How do I say this? The thing that made classes unfun to play against were not touched. but the things that made classes fun to play as were touched. So we ended up in a situation where fun was removed without fun being reinstated. And so effectively, less fun is in the game overall, which is not fun. One-shot Luminary will still one-shot people, just have 5 second longer cooldown on its 4 skills. Oh no, I guess they'll kite for 5 seconds. That is kind of correct. Evoker's Hero Agility shouldn't have Blur on it, period. The other familiar skills don't have such game-breaking power when you attune that pad. Also kind of correct. ArenaNet Evoker gives it permanent 40% damage reduction instead. See, no longer immune to crits, now it's balanced. I believe it's kind of better, because depending on what spec they are fighting, crit modifier in GW2 reaches somewhere between 250% and in case of some builds 300%. So reduction by effective reduction you get by preventing enemy from critting you against dedicated power build might be between 50 to 60% likely. So the 40% damage reduction is kind of enough. Moreover, the 50% damage reduction, it will not it will scale diminishingly with defensive boons, like protection. Previously, it effectively scaled multiplicatively, because you first would remove the crit, and then you would reduce remaining thing. So you first reduced everything by the crit amount, which is sometimes 60%, and then you would also give the protection. Now the protection and this thing, they will just stack with each other diminishingly. So effectively both will be less effective, if you know what I mean. So instead of total 70-80% damage reduction with all of the reductions the spec has, you effectively have like I'm sorry, I have cancer. You will probably have about 50 to 60%. So it's like 20% damage reduction cut. And if I remember correctly, isn't the what's his name? Isn't the was it Stoneheart? I know that there's Stoneheart and Diamond Soul, and I keep mistaking one for the other. Let's say it's Stoneheart. Isn't Stoneheart specifically nerfed on top of it no longer being a crit removal? Isn't it nerfed also on top of that specifically for Evoker? Because I thought it was. Stacks with protection tools, so instead of crit immunity, now they have passive 72% damage reduction. Kind of yes. I'm pretty sure, but it still stacks depending on spec to lower number than before. But also now, if you have like a spec that has some something that works with crit strikes, for example, I will show off the Condi build, how it performs right now on Berserker. If you have something that's, for example, like Axe Mastery on Warrior, where critical hits with axes will generate more adrenaline. Previously, you would be cocked out of that adrenaline. Now you will have that adrenaline. So all the specs which have some effect that is directly tied to critical strikes is buffed against Evoker. Like, I still also think that Evoker still needs more nerfs, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that the crit removal was not effective nerf. You can't have Amalgam and Lumi. Yeah, they do Willbender. If they do, Willbender will surface and wreck everything again. It will not. Willbender was strong, but it was also fun. And like, as you can see, we already have Willbenders here in the game, because Willbender is just more fun than other classes. It kind of frustrates me that I'm fighting the same people, like this guy. I was fighting him when I was pushing Platinum this season. So it doesn't bode well. I would love more Condi Warrior, but it's so boring, they need to rework under old weapon into Condi one. Yes and no. Like, honestly, I put it this way, if Flaming Flurry wasn't projectile based, we would already have better Condi weapon. But because Flaming Flurry is projectile based, it's not only unreliable, as in terms of just not hitting, the projectile is missing, and also unreliable as... You're a Gunzerk? How? Okay. I thought it's a Condi Warrior. But that's on me, honestly. I should have noticed earlier that this is a Gunzerker. This is then a matter of high priority. Perish. Good. Ah, let's shake it off, okay. That doesn't give me stability. I forgot what buttons I have on this build. I haven't used it for so long. Oh, okay. So we're not doing this. It was a corner, if not even a Evoker one. Yes, and I might be wrong, but I was fairly confident that there was Evoker nerf on top of the core nerf. That Evoker was specifically made to take less... to just have less reduced damage reduction when it's attuned to the frog. Evoker was most powerful build. I'm going to have to do two things. One of which is removing the bloody... Sorry, I have to mute Discord and I have to turn on the lights in my shit. No shit, room, sorry. Discord turn off. No lights. Hopefully I won't die in the meantime. Ouch. I almost did. I tripped on something. And somebody's shooting me. I almost feel like somebody's shooting me, and I get no privacy. Oh, I almost feel like somebody's shooting me. Only it's just so much stronger. Roller what? Apparently not strong enough. Apparently not strong enough, but hey, 1v1 behind the counter was kinda funny. That's one problem with most ranged in PvP. They have infinite escape options and zero risk in attacking. Kind of. It's like the... what's its name? You know the... I cannot say the term of kiting principle, because it's a term I made up, so none of you will understand what I'm trying to say by that. So... if you're trying to make a class, or a spec, or something, be strong, and you want it to be ranged, you need to give it some sort of weakness. Because if it's as strong in melee as melee classes are in melee, then it just trumps the melee classes. Because it has range advantage and is as strong in melee as the melee classes. So it cannot be as strong in melee. Because if melee class and range class start fighting each other, they will not immediately be in melee. So, because the ranged class always gets a head start in the fight, in dealing damage, it needs to be at least a little weaker than melee classes. Or at least weak enough that it will make the fight fair to both sides in some way, shape or form. This, unfortunately, is... I don't know if you noticed there, but two of my skill here as well. Some of my Flaming Flurry just did not hit because enemy was strafing slightly. It's a very reliable skill that there is nothing even remotely frustrating about it. But look at this lad. Look at this fella. Look at him. Look at... holy shite. They... yet another. Peak performance. That's how peak performance looks like. As I was saying, if you have ranged class, it always gets a head start in combat, because it can deal damage in ranged, while melee class needs to first cross the distance and get into melee. So, ranged class always has to be weaker in melee than melee class. But also, all melee classes need to be able to cross the distance. That's why, for example, I love this example. And I have rifle to show it. If you are moving forward and firing, you're moving at full speed. If you start backing up and firing, you're moving at reduced speed. You're moving at walk speed, as you can probably see. This is so, if I'm backing up and shooting at somebody, they will move faster than I, so they will catch up to me. This is what we like to call, in a professional field, good game design. Because I cannot infinitely kite somebody so that they don't have a chance at fighting me back. Of course, this game doesn't necessarily need that, because everyone who is melee and who wants to get into melee with me can just press the funny button and shadow step happens. And when shadow step happens, nothing else needs to be achieved. The peak of combat has transpired. So, this entire mechanic of just, you know, variable movement speed. You move at different speed diagonally, you move at different speed forward, you move at different speed backwards. All of those are essentially wasted because Guild Wars 2 has 3 mechanics. First mechanic is, well, just shadow steps. So classes can cross the distance instantly if they're one of the chosen ones that get to do so. But also, we have this. This is so-called about face feature. If we just use this, we can just kite back and forward with minimal effort. So yes, we can switch from kiting backwards to kiting forwards pretty much with no with no repercussions, losing nothing essentially. Thanks, game. That was not what I was targeting, but okay. Final, not most frustrating, but final mechanic which makes movement variety dysfunctional is snap ground target to current target, because it makes so every skill that you can fire omnidirectionally, you can pinpoint it on your current target while backing away from them. You don't even have to look at them. And the unfortunate thing is, if there was no... Is killing this guy giving me the progression? It does. Holy shit, mitosis. They are reproducing asexually. We are doomed. I guess whether you would like or not the... what's his name? The... snap ground target to current target feature depends on whether you like the grenade spam NG. Because the grenade spam NG basically is the result of the feature. Hello, Django. Thank you for the following. Thank you kindly. I might be a little behind on what's his name responding swiftly to Twitch chat, because unfortunately I am comically poor, and because I'm comically poor, I don't have access to luxuries such as second monitor. And unfortunately what that makes is essentially that I have to look up chat by alt-tabbing and just looking at it in alt-tab. I can search for, like, look at one chat while, like, on my phone, but I have only one phone and I can only look at one chat, so I'm using that to look at the more lively one, which is currently YouTube chat. You can change that by being lively in the Twitch chat, but unfortunately, well, it will take a little effort, let me put it this way. Speaking of Twitch chat, Django says, hello sir, hope you have having a good day. So far so good. It is day as always. Not as good as I would have hoped, but good enough. Still, I hope you have a great day as well. And maybe I also hope that I can make it better. Evoker's got meditations. They have cantrips and meditations. So Relic of the Phenom from the end of Jantir Wilds. They can have protection from teleport, armor of earth, and any familiar skill. That is very, very good observation, actually. I have never thought of that. So somehow my mind filtered out cantrips as a thing that triggers with Relic of Phenoms, and also I forgot that the pet skills are considered meditations for amalgam purposes. Not amalgam, shit. Not luminary. No amalgam. Jesus Christ, I'm a very intelligent evoker. For evoker purposes. But let's nerf Paragon for having one functioning damage build and Antiquary for the same reason, and the entirety of Bard for doing too much healing. Argument falls a bit with Air Ally because Lightning Strike on Air 2 and Air Trade Line doesn't require you to be facing the target. Yes, but the Air 2, as you said, it does not detract from the argument, it adds to it. Those are more things which ignore mechanics specifically put into place so that kiting functions properly. One more bad thing about Guild Wars is just how much this game is dependent on self-buffing. The amount of self-boons applied by many of the classes is just unreasonable. Plain unreasonable. But hey, I might be the complaining one because I am the person that gets shafted the most. Will you? Please stop being the thing you are.
Your enemy has the temple now.
Thieves be thieving.
You've captured the altar. Your enemy has the gate.
Oh, come on. That is so fun to deal with. That is just poetry. Something hit, for the love of God.
You control the gate.
That will deteriorate the creature for a moment.
You've captured the altar.
Still ticking. Just don't. Necromancer, please kill him. Please kill him. Please kill him, I beg of you. Oh, it's so frustrating to deal with a thief who has head screwed on their head, on their shoulders. Like... Apparently not just thief. This is a different thief.
Your enemy has the gate.
You will slowly, gently die of bleed. Let's go. How did you rally? You scum.
You've captured the altar.
Alright, that's just how it meant to be. Relic of Venom is like the solo rune for Evoker. Which I don't want to sound a... what's his name? Bell of conspiracy theory, but...
Captured the altar.
Other classes have anything cool or just exists. In D&D, Fighter have the same spot as Guild Wars 2 Warrior have. Kind of. But also, like, when it comes to D&D, you know, the company that makes it is literally called the Wizards of the Coast, so you know they're just hella jealous for anyone who can walk upstairs without having to stop 3 times to catch their breath. Okay. I messed that up severely. I will just bleed down like a good boy I am. I will not try anything stupid anymore. Referring to the utility skills as familiar skills, not the F5. Yes, the utility skills are the meditations. Yes, they're still pet. What's his name? On Evoker, they're still pet themed. So the theming wise, it checks out. It's like, you know, you may perhaps want to notice one thing. The enemy team has 2 thieves. Yeah? And it's extremely frustrating thing to deal with. Yes. But also, because they have 2 thieves, they have no way of holding nodes properly. So it is nightmare to play against. But it is also, like, they're also losing because of that. Because of the two thieves. And because of one of them is a bitch and is AFK. Maybe I revoke that, it's too late for him to give up, honestly, so... And they have a different task, so... so I shouldn't have put the blame on him specifically. But revoking the beach comment... Still, 2 thieves, extremely annoying to play against. They are still losing. That's because balance doesn't necessarily have to be congruent with balancing. You can have something which is losing strategy, but is extremely annoying. Or you can have something that is winning strategy, but is fun to play against. What I'm trying to say is that in pursuit of balance, chart-wise, the winning strategy, losing strategy dilemma, we often lose sight of the fun. Yes, I know, forbidden F word, but the games don't stand up based on mathematical balance. The game that survives is the game that can keep an audience. And the game can keep an audience if it's fun, first and foremost. Because if it's not balanced but it's still fun, it's still fun. If it's balanced but it's not fun, it's not fun. I know. Complicated shit. But this way, the first thing that needs to be understood is that balance is less necessary for the game's survival than fun is. So we should not be sacrificing fun for the sake of balance. Quite the opposite. If need be, we should sacrifice balance on the altar of fun. But we should do it so as many people can have fun as possible. Which means that if we have a class that has a good build, which is not fun to play against, and bad build, which is fun to play against, we should incentivize people to start playing that build which is bad but fun. Essentially, we should buff that build. This is why I am constantly frustrated why that ArenaNet will not do things, for example, to allow like Spellbreaker to use rifle better, or just won't touch 100 blades. Because it would be much more fun to play against, for example, Greatsword Warrior builds, or against for something like Rifle Paragon or Rifle Spellbreaker, than it is against the, for example, Double Mace, or the current Condi Berserker. Like, those builds are less fun to play against. And because they're less fun to play against, we end up in a situation where people knowingly, understandably, don't want to play against those builds. Crabface, does Condi Herald still works? I don't know. I don't recall when I last time saw Condi Herald. When I see Condi builds, they're usually Conduit currently. So I'm not certain if the I can't say if Condi Herald works. I know that Condi Revenant works. I think that Condi Herald should be able to stay afloat, but it might be just a couple steps below Conduit.
Hold on to your points. Seize theirs.
Stubborn little creature.
Your enemy has the
They're
temple
coming
now.
behind me.
You control the gate.
Okay. I was blocking. I know that Catalyst has unblockables. But Amalgam? No shit, Evoker? I don't recall them having one. Wait till the Thief have shield. Dear God. Don't even... Ugh. Like, it's enough just bullshit frustration that they have the physical skills which block. Okay. I wasted time there. Come on. They're both calm together. Please. That felt personal. Like, you have entire team fight in front of you. Stop cheating one guy. Especially when the guy in question is dog shit and it's not going to be a priority target. Oh. I'm afraid that we might be cooked.
Your enemy has the gate. You've got the temple.
You're not serious.
Getting started. Stillness has appeared. Your enemy has the temple now.
Okay, I misinputted. But actually, I misaligned, mistimed the inputs. Okay, that was extremely special. Rally mechanic is magic, and nobody knows how it actually works.
Your enemy sees the altar.
Get me out.
Your enemy has the gate.
I really don't like the fact that tab target is prioritizing pets over players. No, bad.
You've got the temple.
Could you show between matches what skills Paragon have? It's nothing, what's his name? Nothing really worth talking about, but I can show them off. They are turbo boring. Look at all that gale shot invokers, cake. Yes. And it's even funnier when you just fight gale shots and you watch them be...
Your enemy has the
like actual borderline and borderline useless. Look at this guy, he almost died. And so far did like, nothing.
The enemy has all 3 points. Get them back.
I guess I should have been prepared for that. I hope teammates will stall, at least. I will show the Paragon skills. There are very few of them which are fun in Paragon. It's, unfortunately, the only skills in Paragon that are fun are also, lo and behold, weak. Very.
You've captured the altar.
Damn it. It's a bit too much barrage when you have to fight 2 specs which connect by Bluetooth to you and kill you that way, without actually having to fight or worry about range. Oh, nothing should have more than 900 effective range. Nothing should have that. It's insane. Definitely not bloody auto attacks.
Stillness has appeared.
It's just mental. Completely. Will you ignore the meditation? Will you ignore? I'm waiting. I'm waiting. The stall works in my favor. Remember that. Just have to not lose everything and it will be okay. Stall, 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 stall. Stall as long as you can. Shit, no. I'm afraid it's lost. Yeah, it's lost, damn it. It's close. If anyone at all responded correctly to this call, it would be won, but somehow no LP loss. But close fights, good fights. Am I right? Close fights are good fights. Oh. Okay, Vashka. Let me show you those bloody Paragon skills Just quickly see if no one is dying on Twitch side, so that's good. They have Paragon built somewhere, or yes, here. So Paragon skills. You have these, essentially. The sad thing about Paragon is that you're, like Spellbreaker, you are completely cut from second and third level bests. You're only using the level 1, which is kind of sad. But also we have this. This bullshit is called motivation. What motivation does is that whenever you use adrenaline and use one of your skills, you get these points of motivation. And motivation is spent over time on essentially just pulsing effects of those skills. Let me show you again. If I have this app, I will be getting Might and Fury over time. If I have this app, I will be getting healing over time and regen. And when I have this, I will be getting swiftness and defensive boons over time. Also, on activation, this gives me Might and Fury, this gives me Vigor and Barrier, and this gives me stability and breaks stun. Like this is what the skills do. Also, we have traits. The traits give you specifically, give you motivation and activate this when you enter combat. This gives you cleanse on this skill, and this gives you super speed on activation of this. Then this is your motivation mechanic. This gives you adrenaline on weapon swap in combat, and gives you motivation on weapon swap. Motivation is the resource you spend on the periodic effects. Second column gives you buffs, either increased damage reduction, or increased movement speed, depending on which of three you have active. This gives you your healing and adrenaline back every time your motivation goes down, and it goes down over time. And this makes your command skills, which is a Paragon's exclusive skills, just go down, activate one more time. And it is good moment to tell you quickly about commands. Commands have this effect that you activate them, and after short delay, they activate again. The second activation is called Echo, and it has reduced effects. But in general, it's just second activation. And third column, this gives you alacrity in PvE and quickness in PvP or World Reward on activation of chant skills. So those three. This gives you more damage per motivation you have, so it rewards upkeeping the motivation. And this makes every one of these skills, their passive effect, a little stronger, and gives you more motivation on activating them. Ooh. Now I will quickly show you the skills. This is just AoE healing and AoE cleanse. It's essentially like shouts. Heals AoE again, and heals AoE again. That's how it works. Damn, this sounds so nice for PvE, like Banner Warrior on steroids. Yes. Paragon, I made this joke before. Paragon essentially is a core warrior that identifies as a banner. This is like the entire idea of this pack, unfortunately. It is extremely boring if you are just very accustomed to playing warrior and you played it every way possible for the last 8 years. But if someone like you, if you're just getting back into the game, it might be, what's his name, interesting enough. One thing you also want to know about commands is that if you use anything that costs adrenaline, the secondary pulse will activate immediately. So you can speed up the activation of the skills that way. More command skills you have is find their weakness. This is a little bit of ranged damage. Let me show you on Molestic this crab. Boom. He takes damage. And pulses will give me might. This might is AoE, and this damage is AoE around the initial target. The more targets you hit with the skill, the more might you will generate. And also gives you adrenaline per enemy track. There's extra adrenaline and extra might per enemy track. Then you have Never Surrender. This, initially, let me get... Initially, it gives you Aegis and Resistance. And on every pulse, it gives you Regen and Resolution. So it's pretty good defensively. Also, it's an AoE stun break like Shake It Off. Unfortunately, unlike banners, pretty much none of the commands is... unlike Shout, sorry. None of the commands is instant cast. All of them have cast times. But then you also have On Your Knees, which is the only fun way, because this on initial cast and on echo is a what's his name? Is a Jesus Christ, damage proc. So you just have 3 procs of damage on initial cast, then soon after, and third time if you have reverberation. And also you have Brace Yourselves, which is just barrier on each cast. Barrier, barrier, then again barrier. With, of course, a little bit of protection. And what that grants adrenaline. And Elite skill is unfortunately the worst of all. We Will Never Yield. What it does is... you cast it, you grant pretty much everyone around you 3 seconds that their health cannot drop below 0. After which they get some barrier and get some super speed. Super speed is on echo casts, if I remember correct. Yes. It's very bad in comparison to other warrior elite skills, and pretty much nobody uses it. Which you wouldn't anyway, because banner is just better. Once again. It's unfortunate, but hey. Unfortunate, but true. The skill is just bad. But last time had fun with Warrior was with Hammer, Dagger, Mace, Spellbreaker. And only because I was collecting angry PMs for chaining stuns. As Macot, you then may want to test out the double Mace Valkyr build. Because if something is going to get a terrible, what's his name, reputation for chaining stuns, it's going to be the build which combos Mace 3 into Mace 2 into F1 into 454 into Boost Charge into into the Alcoholic Father Stance into back again into 3 to F1, which is essentially a build that has 100 to 0 crowd control pretty much permanently as its only actual strength, and it's also tanky as shit. Maybe not as shit, but tanky enough. Still hate how they made the damn wings look like plastic and piss. Yes, unfortunately they did, but isn't that the wings in question? Isn't that just what you would expect? This is a proper equivalent of how warrior looks and functions, besides just... It's just appropriate, unfortunately. It's just... you know, close to home, I guess. Maybe too close. Oh, hey, look, the Paragon wings look like piss! Who could have foreseen? From the class that functions like piss. That ult immortality could be fun for some one-shot shenanigans in fractals or something. Unfortunately, it does not prevent one-shot mechanics. It doesn't. So, sorry to disappoint. It does not. We specifically made it that way because it was... because they are thinking about integrity of PvE, where PvE enemies are not going to quit the game out of frustration. But hey, such is life. Imagine like... imagine like just playing a raid, just trying to cheese the boss or something, and boss just alt F4s out of the game. It's so funny. For someone, at least. Someone being me, because I don't play PvE that much. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Firebrandu. There's no thief in enemy team, and there is a Firebrand and a Reaper. That's going to be probably the best game we're going to have today. But I was playing mostly, if not only PvE. Like, if you enjoy PvE, then that's good for you. And, yeah, unfortunately for you then, the Paragon death prevention thing does not work on things like... on all the one-shot mechanics in the game. If you, for example, fail the... what was it? You know what? I should shut up, because I cannot bring up from memory any one-shot mechanic in the game. That is actually a one-shot mechanic. I know it does not prevent like Samarok from getting you downed if he's on top of you. I know it's just going to, like, you will get to 0 and just die. At least I think. Because I remember that you're supposed to work that way, but nobody checked that. Fractal CM has plenty. Exactly. Fractal CMs. But also, it's comically speaking, played Fractal CMs even like further back. Last time I played Fractal CMs, banners were still giving quickness. Okay, that is not something I want to be doing right now, apparently. That's... the ranged barrage of bullshit is very fun. And even with the reflect, they just keep shooting.
lost lion.
What's a renegade? I don't remember when last time I saw renegade. It must be working for them. Can I? Yes. I cleared the jump. Oh, he's cocked.
The Colosseum's artifacts are accruing power. You've lost lion. The artifacts have reached maximum power. You've lost the field.
He's so smart. Look at him, so smart.
Red team has obtained an artifact. You've captured dragon. You've captured the field.
I'm coming for you.
I'm afraid that's how a counter looks like.
You've lost the field.
Unfortunately, what's his name? The other side of the map. See, the pony spam was fun. To an extent.
The Colosseum's artifacts.
I would call it annoying, if anything. Not exactly what I like to call fun, but to each their own, I guess, right?
You've lost lion.
It seems you have this little harder than before. Little man. And projectile reflex.
Has obtained an artifact.
Cannot fight that. Many such cases, unfortunately. Many such cases.
The artifacts have reached maximum power.
No animation or nothing, you just wait and kill me. Just welcome to the other side, I guess. What I didn't know about. Reflect. Apparently, like, Smackcode, I'm going to tell you something. I vividly remember still people getting angry at me for in quotations cheating and angrily stating that warrior doesn't have unblockables, despite me pinging the what's his name Signet of Might in response. So I've been through these games before. Let's see if this dude knows about reflex. Okay.
You've captured the field. You've lost Dragon. The Colosseum's artifacts are accruing power.
Okay, I misplayed. Somewhat.
The artifacts have reached maximum power.
This surviving for a long amount of time is not outside of realm of responsibility? Possibility. At least I can stay alive for a little longer. Against people who shouldn't be in the same league as me, so... Yay, By the way, that was not meant to be condescending. It was just meant to be as a painful statement of a fact. I am a dumbass. Oh, no one's rotating them close? Damn.
You've lost the field.
I'm expecting someone to just leap over there every microsecond. Because I took them long enough. Hello?
Blue team has obtained an artifact.
Hello. Have a knife. When light armor magical class is better at melee than warrior. Screw Necros. Peak game fantas actually. You know what's funny? Can you name all in all good match this one? Yes, Vashka, yes. It is pretty... It was entertaining, at least to me, and I hope to the viewers as well. The issue is, which I want to allude right now, is that Smackcode, can you name a light armor class in GW2 that is not better than warrior at being warrior? Are you on EU? Yes, the Django, I'm on EU. The comments that happened to Heisen, either believe laser. Yes, I think so as well. The fact that what's his name? That Paragon thingy does not prevent one-shot mechanics probably was very frustrating to Heisen. Because after all, if that would help somebody, it would be him. Well, he's the only person who is actually trying to one-man the what's his name? Jesus Christ. The ride and strike and counters. Yes. Come on, you're joking. The King Raptor is taking up the space? Like, body blocking the projectiles? You're joking. Okay. Try again. Good. That's a pretty good question. It is. So the meta isn't going, so we will go and check that. Chest. Wahoo. Because why not? A little chest never hurt anyone. We will now go. And see. Well, is the meta failing? Mao. I think I witnessed first time this meta has failed in my life. I do not recall it failing before once. Mao. Get down, Mr. President. It appears so. Aye, aye. Whew. What are we fighting against this time? It might be strange to say this, but I'm having fun playing Kondi Berserker. Like, I was originally planning to play it for one game, just to showcase how it functions. Because someone asked how it does functions, but I ended up just sticking with it because it's... because you get to play the damn game. Those really are the same people over and over again. Yes. It appears so.
Seize theirs.
Like the PvP in Guild Wars 2, it's on its like 4th extinction event since End of Dragons, and I'm afraid this one will be the final one. Like we're having just an actual communities forming around the idea of coping about Guild Wars 3 coming and saving us from Guild Wars 2. It's just it's this bad. Him, bro, is clueless.
Your enemy has the gate.
Bro is legit clueless. Bro failed the vibe check. Now, just hoping that team will not collapse.
You've got the temple.
Second Ranger, let's see. How will they function around? In nebulous idea of projectile reflect. Will they function better or will they function worse?
Your enemy sees the altar.
Ooh, he evaded something. That is very strong for him. Look at him. Yes, the two of them was enough combined. Enough combined power to just power through projectile reflect by just turning the brains off and firing away. Wonderful individuals. I'm of course miming a little bit.
Your enemy has the temple now.
They at least try to use the abilities which partially... Is it an... I think I'm hallucinating, by the way. I would swear that I saw somebody coming around.
Your enemy has
Now our ranger just...
come here.
Go through.
Stillness has appeared.
Oh, come on. I thought the damage reduction from the rage will keep me alive for a little longer. I was wrong. Very wrong. Extremely wrong, even. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why Guardians keep having low win rate. They will tell you that the class is weak. It's not. The mental is weak. The mind decays before the flesh. And the... Every time a Guardian complains that their class is weak and that they're losing because of the class, remember that sitting in spawn. That's the weakest part of the Guardian class. It's the actual weakness built in by the developers.
You've got the temple.
I'm of course joking around. I hope this is understandable. And I believe everyone understands that. I'm just saying that just in case we have any Guardian Wains in chat. The two Rangers seem to be very...
Your enemy has the temple now. Your enemy sees the altar. You control the gate.
O, więcej to was matka nie miała. And another one. 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 At least they're coming back for me when I'm already dead. What gives Rangers second HP bar full of barrier? I played this game a ton and I legit still just have no idea. Cannot be hassled to read all of its dumb traits and skills. I'm pretty sure it's Mace 4. That's the most that they have when it comes to barrier. But it would not be, as you say, it's second health bar. Very true with Necros and Guardians, probably because everyone and their mother play one, so they have a wide range of individuals. It is a joke. Like, let's not be... not pretend it's any other way around. That is going to get capped anytime soon, fortunately.
The enemy has
Exactly.
3 points. Get them back.
Sarge. We failed the vibe check. But yeah, the joking around because like people are having different sorts of episodes is
You've captured the altar.
allowed, understandable, and like, once again there's entire party over here.
Your enemy has the temple now. You control the gate.
And he's still there. Brother, find a hobby. Like, you're losing entire rest of the map. Pick a bloody struggle. Like when you're on a speedway behind a Pokemon fan, pick a fucking lane. And now we lose the entire map because... Interesting individuals everywhere.
Your enemy has the gate. Stillness has appeared. Your enemy has the temple now.
Thank you for being yourself. It's very appreciated.
You've captured the altar.
I believe this will be IW, but I don't want to jinx it yet. So we go too far once again. It will be a little more than just a bitch. No.
Your enemy has the gate.
And still win this. Just lads, I need you. Team. This is a team game, and the team I need. I need a hero. He's gotta be strong, he's gotta be fast, he's gotta be fresh for the fight. I need a hero, please someone go close.
Your enemy has the gate.
It was like 14 stacks of bleeding, poison. I got a hero, let's go. They decapped the close, at least. Yee! Oh,
Tranquility has appeared.
it was oddly satisfying fight. The game overall. I'm not exactly thrilled with the fact I'm having the most fun I had since Cheddar knows why, playing specifically Condi Berserker and technically smurfing in lower ranks, but I'm also getting the same people I was playing against in lower ranks. And I got here on purpose, unfortunately. And yeah. This is saddening to me. Because even in, like, yes, there is still month in the what's his name, in the season, but still we don't even have 10 people on the ladder that are in Platinum 2. We usually had like 20 all the time, so not having 10 is a bit saddening. But hey, such is life, unfortunately. The game is reaching its final destination, I'm afraid. It's the last stretch. Probably the last year we can enjoy this game before it starts dwindling rapidly. I wouldn't be surprised if Visions of Eternity was the last expansion for Guild Wars 2. Not only this seem to be, to some extent at least, hinting at, in quotations, the future with, well, let's start with the name of the expansion, Visions of Eternity. It is quite of a title that very seems to strongly suggest something about the future. Secondly, question. Have you watched the documentary ArenaNet put about the 20 years of Guild Wars franchise production? They use a very specific quote there. It's the quote goes like, "It is the process we used with every game we made. We did it with Guild Wars 1. We did it with Guild Wars 2. And then they go, we will do it with every game we will ever made." Something very strange to say if you were not planning any future releases right now. And then they have this like graph, not graph, animation showing timeline of releases. And there's Guild Wars 1, like all of the Guild Wars 1 games on it, Guild Wars 2, and Guild Wars 2 expansions. There is End of, like, not End of Dragons. There is Visions of Eternity on that graphic, on that timeline, and the timeline just starts going beyond Visions of Eternity. So once again, they hint on something being in the future. Then we have, if you play Visions of Eternity, the main antagonist keeps talking about future generations, which is yet another reason why, like, something that they hint about, like, and why would they hint about future generations and future and all of this if they planned nothing for the future, if you know what I mean. Of course, I'm being a little sarcastic, skeptical, but it seems they hint at something. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And then, like, they've been hiring for an announced project that is specifically an announced project since 2021, at least. And there's archived at least 70 job postings that they put up and then taken down. So at least 70 people were hired since 2021. Now it's over 70 people, closer to 80 actually, that were hired since 2021 to work specifically on an announced project. Yes, I forgot to look to alt tab and look on Twitch chat. It was only Tasha speaking, so boss alt F4 on teapot. Oh, I remember what you're talking about. I saw the clip. And last expansion before Guild Wars 3. Yes, probably. What I would also hope is that they have the decency to give Guild Wars 2 its own version of Hall of Monuments. If there's somebody who doesn't remember, Hall of Monuments was a mechanic introduced in Eye of the North expansion for Guild Wars 1, where we were doing specific achievements to get rewards that were available in Guild Wars 2. So if they do that, hopefully people will be less how do I say this? Less hostile to the idea of Guild Wars 2 as a whole. Guild Wars 3, I'm sorry. I punched into evade. Not happy. Not happy with myself again. Not happy with myself. Like, it is pretty likely that Visions will indeed be last expansion to Guild Wars 2, or previous to last, depending if they want to keep going with like one more expansion. But also, one thing that we need to remember is that ArenaNet did this song and dance once before. Once before, when they were moving from Guild Wars 1 to Guild Wars 2, they went with all of the... Like, they said specifically, post that they regret stopping making content for Guild Wars 1 this early, as they say.
You've taken the graveyard.
Sorry, I'm taking your skin off. I love the Mesmer clones not disappearing. It just... yeah. And also, the additional thing I think about future for Guild Wars franchise is that a lot of people want engine hop for Guild Wars 2. So to switch engines. The problem with that is that switching an engine for a game is not as simple as switching an engine for a car. Because, like, engine in a game is not just... like, it's an environment in which the game exists. So if you're trying to switch, like, engine for a game, most often than not you have to rewrite the game from scratch. Yeah, I'm not that stupid. I'm not going to just go in and die. I know why our friendly neighborhood teammates would think I will, but I'm not planning to. We're going to kill this guy instead of dying. Because I like this. I am a sneaky little cringe fellow. Who's shooting me? You're shooting me. Shoot yourself. Stop hurting 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 yourself. Someone tell this man definition of insanity. Hello.
You've captured the quarry.
That does not look bode well. I got the dip. Necromancy in addition to everything else is a little too much. Okay, we're out with our cringy little life. So I can
You lost the waterfall.
come back in a few. Not seconds, not minutes. Oh hey look, a necromancer. Hey look, a necromancer. Necromancer. Would you be interested in... ouch. That's cringe, don't do that. Have a little banning. Have a little this, have a little that. You're really dodging in advance, bro. You're really dodging in advance. I don't want to be anal about it, but you really need to be patient with your dodges. Especially against the dodge that one specific button or die build.
The waterfall is yours.
You fought well. But not well enough. It seems the team is currently actively feasting. Let's try to throw this by going Lord. Why is he using Relic of Fireworks? His power? Ay, shit. I forgot to detarget, bro.
You've lost the quarry.
And detargeting, bro, would be beneficial in this situation. This creature unfortunately has a lot of HP, so it will take a significant amount of time to bring it from 100 to 0. And especially with the heal on top of everything else. Will you lend me your aid, please? Hey Necro, I get it, but it's cringe, stop. Thank you.
Your team is victorious.
This was less entertaining than the previous one, but... the Lord fights are okay. Yes, we can go for one more. It will not be too bad. And we can do the crab thing in the meantime. Crab-shaped hole. This is what I call my behind. I missed. Oh. Have you seen my crab-shaped hole? It is very crab-shaped. Would you look at that? He as well is crab-shaped. This is the peak of PvP. I mean, not PvP, this is Guild Wars 2 at its finest. The crab moment. You got to be crabbing me. Dodge manually as well. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Look at me putting my crabby little hands on on all of this gear. This loot. Crab meat. In this case. What a crab. Question, why isn't a hermit crab a ranger pet yet? I don't understand. That's second, that's third, fourth, should be 5 here, and there's 6 over there, so the... yes, there is. Watch me. Watch me. Witness my glory. Oh, magic essence. Om nom. What is this? That's garbage. Not interested. But I already did it. So I'm lying. Perhaps this is time. The amount of evidence suggesting that Guild Wars 3 is actually coming is astounding. The only issue is that, like, ArenaNet cannot just announce sequel to a game while they're still trying to sell you an expansion to the previous one. Because, well, yeah, that's... You know, they're just taking a golden goose and just twisting its prostate clean off. Like, you don't do that. That's just evil. You should not. Don't. Just don't. Like, this way, people have bought Visions of Eternity. People have... what's his name? Also... What the fuck is its name? People have bought Visions of Eternity. People are buying microtransactions. The cash flow is continuing. If they announced Guild Wars 3, the cash flow from Guild Wars 2 would just stop. Look at you, so proficient in dodging.
The match starts soon.
Still taking the heat. I need to check something real quick.
Hold on to your point.
Once again, I am hallucinating.
An enemy ship is pulling
Maybe
in
that's for the better.
It's the Capricorn.
Maybe that's for the better. As always. Maybe that's just for the better. I try to pull some people with me. Pull the attention. Yes, good. Good.
Tsar is yours. You've lost the dock.
Now I will go here. And nobody will stop me. But also the distraction help team. So they will not be as... What's his name? As badly affected as if I went straight to the far. You see, this is strategizing. This is... And they're still losing and losing hard. Oh no. As they say. Oh no.
The dock's
Indeed.
been captured.
It seems that
The archway.
strategy has not helped us in this situation. Need to keep pulling this on counter, so I'm not 2v1, okay?
The bazaar is yours.
You can see if he has the... what's his name? The... magnetic aura or not. Just can't see. He doesn't seem to have, but I don't want to assume. Because if I make a wrong assumption in this situation, I will just flaming fury myself in the face. And it is
Give the signal and return fire once
not an experience I feel comfortable with. Okay, that is a lot of burst damage. Wow.
They've taken the bazaar from you. You've taken the archway.
I see you. It's not helping me, but I see you.
To signal them to fire. Red team, ring the bell. Fire all cannons.
Come on. It's genuinely cringe. Oh. And Red got the bell? Damn it. Seems we're really expected to pull the weight in this encounter, in this match. The game, do you not know me? Why do you expect me to do such a thing? I am everything, but not skilled.
They've taken the bazaar from you.
Finally.
The dock's been captured.
At least I might not be skilled, but at least this spec is strong. This build. Cringe Zerker. No Blades one? You know what? I got convinced otherwise. It is a sad story indeed. You know, there was once, long time ago, a little boy in a little village who was extremely fucking cringe, and end of the story.
You've lost the dock.
Nice, bro here.
The bazaar is yours.
Was
Be ready to give the signal and return fire once the
Go, my minion. My powerful, beautiful elementalism. Be bold, be free.
The dock's been captured.
Just remember, free, not 50% off, free. Not with microtransactions, actually free. Hello, Ranger Danger.
Is loaded. Ring the bell to signal them to fire.
Do we have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior School Grinder? Shit. That does not look well. I missed, that's not good.
They've taken the bazaar from you.
Oh, I missed very much. I made a strategic error. I think I should not be... shit, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Every option seems bad. Like, if we give them the thing, they will just have the thing and it will be bad. So we cannot concede to...
The bazaar is yours.
Now I'm also just feeding points to them. How long will the engineer last? Microsecond. That's not good. now he dies for this. He shouldn't have come here. It seems we are in a pickle. And you know what it say about pickles? Everybody loves a good pickle until you're in one of them, motherfuckers.
You've lost the dog. Be ready to give the signal and return fire once the cannons are loaded.
The wheel. No! God damn it. Sarge. I try to decap this ahead of the bell, so we can at least fight for the bell. Normally. Somewhat. If we concede this bell, we just lose. No, we just lose. Damn it. Everywhere, everyone, we just lose. It appears to be one of them cursed games. So there is no point. No point going anywhere. I will just...
Red team, ring the bell. Fire all cannons.
I will just wait here. Wait here for the end of this game, this game. And maybe we will fight someone. It's like, I think I understand why it is, in quotations, fun to fight even builds which are conventionally not fun to fight. And that is because like you actually get to fight them on this build. It's very sad that ArenaNet cannot find a balance between a one-shot meta and a what's his name, and the bunker meta. Like as if they have really big problem with that specific thing. With finding balance. We either have too much damage or too little, or too much sustain, or too little damage in comparison to sustain. There seems to be like no way they find an actual balance. But you know what? I haven't for a moment. I have an actual question. It might be very so. Previously, I was starting like this entire week. I was starting at 6:15 p.m. The what's his name? The streams. I was starting them at 6:15 p.m. and I have noticed that my like the viewers, the audience, the you are not like the at 6 there is like 10 to 15 people, then that number is slowly increasing to like 20, 25, 30 when there are what's his name, when there's like 7 to 8 p.m. Already behind us. So assuming you can tell me in Central European time what would be the best hour in your opinion, that's a personal opinion of yours, for when you would like to see me start the stream. Because, well, yes, I am trying to gather some sort of feedback, because now that I have more of a leeway, more of an understanding how streaming would look from me, for me specifically, how does that work into my potential schedule, what I would be able to do with it, I will now just want to see how much would I be able to combine streaming with making of actual videos. Because you may not know, but the reason why I was streaming the entire week instead of making videos is because I had a bit of a bullshit schedule in IRL, so I had not enough times to make a singular proper video for almost a week and a half right now. There is the Elden Ring video and the quickly cobbled together thing for Scars of Honor playtest, but the second one was, as I said, quickly cobbled together, and the first one was being made for like 2 weeks, honestly, because I just couldn't find time previously, so the pain and misery. But if I wanted to stream, to continue streaming, and if I wanted to still make videos, I would have to still get a little more efficient with both, and honing down when and in what quantity the streams would be most edible for my audience is a decent step towards that. So, I will repeat my question, and I hope that you are all not sleeping, though being a sleeping aid for quite a solid bunch of people is also kind of a happy ending. When would you be okay, like the most happy with me starting streams? The only person that I saw so far type anything is Tasha with 16 or 18. I believe that's in Central European Standard Time, because currently it's almost 10 p.m. in Central European Standard Time. One of those. Yeah, it's in your time zone. Thank you. 16 is quite early. It's pretty much when people come back from work. Don't know if I will be able to exactly deliver on that because of the bullshit schedule, but I will see. It may sometimes be possible, sometimes not. I just have to figure out when exactly and how. Necromancer, ladies and gentlemen. Just port away. Oh, we're having the... I love blindness. This is such a fun mechanic. A little beautiful piece of trivia. Chat, do you know that probably it will stay 18? That is 6 p.m. Unless I will have to delay it even further. Like, start later. But I don't know so far. I hope that I will be able to keep up with the 6 p.m. start. 6:15 as it is right now. But I will probably not be streaming every day. That's the most probable. I will just try to find the most consistent schedule that I will be able to upkeep for as long as possible. Or correction, the most consistent schedule that I will be able to keep up going further into the year with as little interruptions as possible. So like, okay, maybe I will be able to stream and make videos. So it, for example, will be 3 videos, 3 streams, or something like that if that's possible.
The quarry.
I can't say for sure whether it will or not, but... Damn it.
The waterfall.
Look at this. There's a lot of quickness. This is good streaming content. Prefastopolis, first of all, thank you. Second of all, if you like this content, you would probably also be okay with telling me when it would be the most convenient for you for my stream to start. And third of all, sorry, that is third already. I have some sort of, I don't know, imposter syndrome or however it's called. Or at least I'm always, like, questioning the supposed quality of my content. So, knowing that my streams are not of subpar quality, I mean, they are still of subpar quality to me, but
You've captured the quarry.
considering that you are willing to... shit, pennies, that's not good. Considering that you're considering my, as I said after every video, dubious quality content worth at least your time, it's already relieving. Hello. Would you like some... Did they just CC'd him out of this? It looked like. Oh lad, that's not good. Like this, quickly, and boom. Ouch. I got shredded by Mr. Ranger. Absolutely shredded. I'm okay with the 9:15 AM time you normally go for. The time I normally go for is 6:15, but... Okay, clearly PvP Warrior content is best content. Yes, it involves a lot of this thing called torment and suffering, so I guess that's part of it.
You've taken the graveyard.
Maybe the torment is just trendy, and maybe suffering is just cool, as the young ones used to say. Speaking like true gigachat boomer.
You lost the waterfall.
Maybe due to the fact how an absolute mess Warrior is in general. Partly yes, but also... Like, it is kind of comedic in a bit tragic sort of way. Once I just hopped in onto a random stream, I believe it was boys, and they were complaining that Ranger's new thing for the ability you get, oh no, from Raptor, the Soul Beast ability you get from Raptor is not, like, is bad, essentially. And I asked if it's not exactly the same as Warrior's Savage Leap, and it was. So they suggested immediately that, they're copying skills one-to-one, they may as well just copy them completely. Because if you don't know, the skill in question was essentially one-to-one copy of Thundering Leap, except without without ages on it.
You lost the graveyard. You lost the waterfall.
One of the few content creators that doesn't glaze ArenaNet, that's already a quality. Yes, it's unfortunate. But it seems that the, what's his name, culture of content creation in general is much more glazing than it was before. If you know what I mean. Because what's very unfortunate is that previously, like, honesty was probably the most important thing that content creator could have to the content creator. Currently, there is much more money in the market, and whenever there is money in some market, there also is the issue of just buying honesty, of buying people's voices. And when you're buying people's voices, they just, well, the voices aren't honest then. And like, I don't want to be condescending towards people who just secure their livelihood, because that's another thing. Content creation doesn't bring melons. Like, it is not something that brings you a lot of money, unless you have either a day job or you have like secured finances for years to come. You cannot afford to like lose what's his name, the cash flow. And if you are in this position where you losing, for example, partner program might mean that you will genuinely get evicted from your house and end up homeless, then yeah, people will be strongly incentivized by the realities of their life to, well, chase that bag, essentially. So, yeah, I'm the only people who I'm genuinely, what's his name, genuinely frustrated with that are glazing companies are the player base, which has nothing to lose. Because if we're speaking about content creator who glazes the game, at least he has money on the line. When you have like random ass dipshits who don't have anything on the line, who are actively sabotaging their own experience just to like never say that there is anything negative in the game, like those people, they frustrate me extremely, because I physically cannot understand that sort of mentality, that sort of person. But hey, like, look at me with me and my honesty, and look at other content creators. There are people like, I don't know, Deployable Lover or however he's called, or Sirma, who is just what's his name, tier list special, or Darren's. Like, none of these people is making their content specifically critical about ArenaNet, and they're all doing better than me when it comes to content creation, numbers wise. Of course, all of this might be just me projecting, my I don't know, inbuilt bias or some sort of jealousy, but yeah, or maybe I'm just delusional. Maybe I'm just delusional. But like, it seems that the what's his name? That the glazing, it is a winning strategy to some extent. This player base seems to have toxic positivity problem in particular. I'm afraid that toxic positivity problem is much more gaming wise right now, because like, you even have people who are claiming that games like High God, that those games would survive if the players were positive about them. They wouldn't. But, you know, there are people who claim that they would. Despite the obvious fact that something that is bad will still be bad if you pretend that it's good. Like communism. But, yeah. There's also essentially like the opposing to it, what's his name? Opposing extreme, yes. Of people who are just deluding themselves the other way and pretending like everything is... If it's a little bad, it's the worst thing in existence. That's why we had the High Guard and the Marathon essentially be nicknamed Concord 2 and 3.0, which is genuinely comedic because we're comparing games that are kinda mid to the game that was, at the time, worst game that has released in history of gaming. But yeah, that's it. While, for example, Helldivers players flame the devs all the time. Yes, but also Helldivers players have a little... how do I say this? There is a reason, like, method to this madness. Because Helldivers devs, they tend to speak out of this thing called realism, which they use specifically and only when it benefits, like when it hurts the player. For example, they, in recent patch, made a insect in the game have heavier armor on front of its face than the tank that players have. By the way, and also then some of the enemies, like the bots, you know, the automatons. Automatons made out of metal had worse armor, I believe including the Hulks, but I'm not exactly certain, than a fucking insect made of chitin and flesh. So, yeah, you have realism, then you have this bullshit. And then you also have, what's his name, these shady decisions like Helldivers devs buffing mechs and in the same patch releasing paid Warbond with 2 mechs inside. So, yeah, that's kind of shaky, kind of strange, very odd thing. And then also you had just pattern. When was the flamethrower flamethrower change, flamethrower fixes pushed through? When there was a flamethrower warbond. When was the what's his name? Stealth like suppressors. The suppressors were also fixed when there was stealth warbond releasing with suppressors in it. Like every time Arrowhead fixes something that is bugged beyond extreme, it's incongruence with releasing paid content involving that specific thing. So that's why, like, yes, realism is when 5 infantry fights the entire combined arms division with reserves. Yes, the talk of realism in games like the talks of realism in a game like Helldivers should not be happening. And as I said, a lot of nerfs, a lot of things, sorry, not nerfs, a lot of bugs, not the terminates, the like bugs in code of the game, are only fixed when there's monetary reason behind that. A lot of bugs like stratagem bouncing, for example, were not fixed at all. The ragdolls were not fixed at all. A lot of these very, very interesting stuff that should not be happening, it just is not being fixed. And when something is being fixed, 99% of the time, it's alongside a warbond that would be otherwise affected by that specific bug. I think they only made like Starship Trooper Insect their tanky as shit in game. The only realism should be about weapons. Like, yes, realism should be applied to the game when that makes the game fun. Realism should not be applied to the game when it's frustrating. Because, like, I'm going to give you an example. If, like, what is realistic in combined arms combat of modern era? The fact that you will be sitting day and night in a trench, damp, underground, having terrible fucking time and fearing for your bloody life because every single sound in the darkness of the night can be the last you will hear, and you will have no way, no possible way of figuring out whether you will live the next 10 seconds or not. Because once you're spotted, there will be no warning. There will be just an explosion. Welcome to drone warfare. I hope you're not having fun, because you're not meant to. There is only suffering beyond this point. That's a realistic combat scenario. It's not fun. It never was, it never will be. Because if we talk about realism, we talk 90% of the time about making the game criminally unfun. And that's the problem. Songs like GW2 only fix new content people pay for. The difference is that the content in GW2 people pay for is not being fixed. The content in Guild Wars 2, new content, either stays pay to win for months or is pay to win for like 2 weeks and then gets dumpstered. Warrior's best class to learn about suffering, yes, and I am an expert in that. But unfortunately, there's getting late for me, and I was, unfortunately, I still have shit to do in real life, and I was up today quite from early, and I will have to get up early tomorrow as well, because my life is pain. But you know what? If you want my IRL life to be less pain, so we can focus more on the pain in game, you can either subscribe or support me either through channel memberships or through Patreon, or to whoever's on Twitch. You can try to subscribe onto Twitch so I can eventually ditch my fucking job and become a content creator for life. And just Wiki, thank you for subscribing. Sorry, for following, I'm sorry. And once again, thank you all for sticking with me, for joining me today. And have a wonderful rest of your night. And I have to get up tomorrow early, so you have a great rest of your night. And